Marvel's Spider-Man 2. I clearly can't shut the hell up about this game. That's how much I enjoyed it. That's how much I'm loving replaying it. But I was thinking about not just like my last video where I talked about potential DLC ideas. I also started to think, well, what about spin offs, right? Instead of just small continuations of the story in Spider Man 2, what about similar to what they did with the Miles Morales game? Something that I was not expecting at all when that surprised us and came out as quick as it did. It was a smaller game, sure, probably half the size of Marvel's Spider-Man 1, but still, it felt like its own game. It felt like its own sort of deal, and I think we could continue doing more of that. Like, for example, here are 5 spin off ideas that we could do after Spider-Man 2. Number 1, Miles Morales 2. I think it makes a lot of sense to do practically a sequel to Miles Morales, where it's just him, once again, protecting New York by himself. But given the way that Spider-Man 2 ends, with Peter potentially retiring, it would also make sense that Miles would be on his own and why the next game would just be him. Also, you had a slight tease of the character Silk, who is Cindy. I think they might want to introduce her in a Miles spin-off and maybe have some sort of back and forth there. Number 2, Spider-Man 2099. This also gets me jazzed up, especially with the side missions in Spider-Man 2, where you had to collect all of the spider bots and the drones. I was not expecting for that to pay off in the way that it does. I mean, I got that a lot of them did have Easter eggs. A lot of the bots were of certain spiders from other universes, and so it makes sense. I guess I just wasn't expecting them to go there, because once you collect all of the bots and you get to the part where there's a character in a portal that opens up, and you could tell from her character design and the background of how it looks similar to the Across the Spider-Verse type of animation style. And she's specifically mentioning Miguel O'Hara, who is Spider-Man 2099. I would love a game that took place in 2099. So it's a futuristic New York. I mean, that would be mind-blowing what they would be able to accomplish. It would probably look similar to Cyberpunk as far as the city and the world looks, but imagine basically Spider-Man in Cyberpunk. I am here all day, every day, and why not? Let's get Oscar Isaac to do the voice. Number 3, SpiderGwen. This is more random. She has not been teased, SpiderGwen, in hardly any way at all. But I would want this more so since Gwen Stacy has not been a character in the Spider-Man connective history in the games. I don't know if even a Gwen Stacy existed. Why not have a different version of Gwen Stacy, which ends up becoming Spider-Gwen? Whether it's a multiverse scenario or whether it's a Gwen Stacy from the same universe, but she just ends up going down her own path. I think that could be fun. Spider-Gwen, in general, her character has gotten a lot of popularity in recent years. Number 4 might be the least likely, but I thought this would be fun. A Mary Jane spin-off game. Now, I know this sounds ridiculous because Mary Jane is not a spider-powered character. She would not be swinging through New York City, nor do I want that. And this probably is more likely, if it were to happen, to be a DLC. But I think of it more similar to, if you remember the Uncharted games, the last Uncharted game, they had a spin-off game called The Lost Episodes, where you had 2 female characters going off and doing their own missions. And it was only like 8 episodes, I believe. It was smaller. Maybe Mary Jane could do that. They already gave her more of a physical aspect to her missions that were in Spider-Man 2. She was able to go around and be more badass and take down more hunters. And so if she had her own undercover story that she had to do, and if Peter is legit retired, she could go out and do her own thing, more close to the Uncharted type gameplay. Again, not likely, but just an idea to throw out there. Number 5, and I pray that this is somehow if not in the works now, Sony would see the reaction that everyone had playing as this character and they start work on it. I'm talking about a Venom game. And since Harry Osborn, he became Venom and he was very evil, and now that Venom doesn't exist. Why not use this opportunity to introduce Eddie Brock as Venom and have him as a vigilante? I don't love the idea of Eddie Brock just starting out as Venom without being a villain first. But because they already told a Venom villain story in Spider-Man 2, this might be your backdoor way of trying to get Eddie Brock's hero Venom like they did in the movies, but just not as good in the movies. This could be a better version of that. And however you get there, however you try to create the scenario, however you create a new Venom to take over in this protagonist role, I just want a Venom game now. I want a game where I'm able to play as that Venom or a similar feeling Venom, that powerful, that badass. Give me an entire game like that, even if it's the length only of Miles Morales. Give me that game now. I think we all would enjoy that. So guys, let me know in the comments below spin-off ideas. What do you think of mine, and what are some of your spin-off ideas? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.